City of Victoria is grappling with its city budget and its financial plan for the next 5 years. And they're looking for ways to slam the city budget, leaving the future of the youth bus pass program in jeopardy. Yeah. So here, I'll spell it out for you. Last year, council directed staff to come back with options on how to minimize tax increases for 2025 and 2026. This Friday, council will receive that staff report showing how the city can keep the annual tax lift down to about 4% per year through 2030. But in order to pull that off, we'll need to take out about $38.5 million from the budget. So staff, the city of Victoria, have, with their fine-tooth comb, looked over the books and found about 36 ways in which Victoria can either reduce programs, increase fees and taxes, or otherwise spend less money. One of the options calls for the removal of the $630,000 the city has budgeted for the youth bus pass program. Because, as we are all well aware, 12-year-olds and under in BC can ride the bus for free.
But there's teenagers who travel for school, so that's why these bus passes were created and paid for, right?
And so in the city of Victoria...
And by the way, just Victoria.
Just the city of Victoria.
Which I always thought that was a little strange for myself coming from the peninsula as a teenager. That would be a very valuable thing to have over in the peninsula.
Been, exactly.
You know? So I can, okay.
But this is something that the city of Victoria has done for a couple of years now. And they've say 70%. Roughly, of Victoria youth used the program.
70?
70.
See, this just proves the need for this. It is a very vital resource for so many teens in Victoria and would be for other teens.
So one of the options, as I mentioned, calls for pulling that money out of the city budget.
Right.
Staff notes, though, that the CRD's transportation service grant was incorporated into the draft budget. We discussed that grant on the program a couple of weeks ago. The most recent update is that the CRD Transportation Committee endorsed the motion that was made by Directors Cardona and Thompson to advance the request to the main board. The board will then need to decide, it hasn't happened yet, it will need to decide whether or not to have staff look into the costs, the benefits, and all the ins and outs of running that plan regionally, and then report back.
And they're thinking about the fare for not just like that 16 and under, I believe it was, or something for Victoria, but 13 to 18.
Yeah, 13 to 18.
It's a bit more years as well. And
12 and under is already on the provincial.
Exactly. Yeah. But there's a lot of 16 to 18-year-olds that would really help out. And looking at it regionally, too. So, yeah, that's neat.
So, but this is where we get stuck. Because it looks like staff in the city are kind of banking on the CRD board, accepting the committee's proposal, getting staff to report back, the board receiving that report, and then voting to go ahead with the plan.
But they don't know for certain.
No. I mean, at this point in time, the committee has advanced the report to the board for them to consider even getting staff to report back.
But they're deciding not to go forward with it, hoping that CRD is going to take care of this.
So it seems to be that there's a lot of supposition behind the idea now that the CRD will implement a region-wide youth bus pass program. City staff also note, and accurately so in my opinion, that funding would need to be added back or the program canceled if funding cannot be secured.
No, I don't think that that's what the city wants. So clearly they hopefully would have a plan?
Yeah. I mean, we've already had some people kind of talking about this. The Victoria Transit Riders Union, for example, have been putting it on blast all day today. On their social media pages. Even then, Councillor Dell commented on the posts this morning saying, look, there's almost zero chance that this is going away. Couch that. It's not zero, it's almost zero, but they said it's quite supportive, and then he himself is personally invested in it and is going to ensure that, that the funding that the program maintains. But still, it's the best hopes of a politician as opposed to well-laid plans.
Yeah, there's no plan, but it's nice to hear that there's at least someone willing to go to bat for it.
Indeed. So I do want to talk about this a bit further with Victoria Transit Riders Union, whose interim chair, Liz Cronin, joins us now on the CFAX Afternoon Show. Liz, how you doing?
Hi, Josh. I'm doing okay. Thanks for having me on.
Well, it's my pleasure, and thank you for coming on to speak on behalf of folks who take the bus around our fine region here in Greater Victoria. So just talking about the issue here that we are now, and the youth bus program that the city's running, and the CRD looking at doing that regionally. What kind of concerns are top of mind now for folks riding the bus, especially those under the age of 18, when they look at the prospect of that program potentially going away?
Well, what we've heard from young people, and we helped co-organize a rally on Earth Day with a group called Transit for Teens, a really cool group of young people who are trying to push for fare-free transit for teens across the province. And we heard from the ones who live in the city of Victoria that this means everything to them, getting to move freely and not having to worry about their families coming up with the money for their bus passes. And they just desperately want it to expand. I didn't even know. We only found out recently that there was any talk of this program going away. And luckily we have been reassured by at least one member of council that they would be very shocked if it actually were to get cut, because it's quite successful. Like 70% of the young people in the region take advantage of it. And so that's reassuring, but it's very disturbing to see it even come up at all, that this could be eliminated.
Now, one of the things that I know we've discussed this before on the program is you'd like to see such a thing done on the provincial level. I mean, the big audacious goal is you just wipe away fares altogether. You can just take the bus as you need and watch the ridership grow and grow. But at least in the meantime, eliminating fares for youth and seniors across the province. Tell me more about that.
Yes, we're asking the provincial government to immediately eliminate transit fares for youth and seniors in all of BC, because people don't have the money, and because like a service like the library, where we're already used to not charging people at the point when they're using the service, it's better for everyone when people do use this service. Mm-hmm. And we just know, with the level of the affordability crisis that we're reaching right now, we know that there are young people and seniors who are facing social isolation. That's a huge health concern in both of those groups. That's part of the reason that we're advocating for starting with those two groups in our society. There's no way you can ever convince me that we don't have enough money floating around in BC to make this really important change. And we also would save money down the line in areas like healthcare. We need to tax the rich, and we need to let people move around freely and meet their needs. This is serious. This is hard times, and we need it to happen right away.
I mean, if 70% of City of Victoria youth, now when I say that, we're talking 13 to 18-year-olds, because when you consider it, those under 12, the province is picking up the tab.
That's right.
Right? So it's not the city. This is the province. So when you talk about the 70% of uptake of this youth bus pass program in the City of Victoria, that's a big number.
Yes, yeah. This means so much to the young people, and we know from other regions that have done this, like in Kingston, Ontario, there was some research they did after they introduced this same program where youth could ride the buses for free. 10% of the youth were going to extracurricular activities that they couldn't participate in before the change happened. So we know for sure that it's really important to young people, and that's what was shared by a mom who went to the CRD meeting where this was discussed, who has a kid in that age range and lives in Esquimalt. That she knows how important it would be at the regional level to get that extended to folks in that area. But then what about the kids in the Lower Mainland? Yeah. So this just needs to be fixed in the similar way to when the province changed it to the age of 12. They didn't go high enough. That was messed up. We need them to change it now.
I agree.
To 18. And we need it for the seniors too, because we know that the seniors also need it to happen right away. The beautiful thing is, once they make those changes, it can give them a moment to build up the infrastructure, the staff, the buses, the SkyTrains, et cetera, to be able to totally eliminate fares. And that's where we would see some of the most beautiful benefits, like not having to spend a ton of money on infrastructure to collect the fares. I think it just came out in Vancouver there's bids open for a contract that I can't remember the number, but it's a very high number that the TransLink is considering spending on a new Compass card program to collect the fares. Like, just don't do that. Don't waste money harvesting cash from all of these folks when we know we want people to ride the bus. We know it's better. We know it saves money in healthcare. It prevents congestion, which costs a lot of money to our economy. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, in the meantime, because I've got about a minute left with you, Liz, before I have to take a break and news update here. But for folks concerned about the future of the Youth Bus Pass program in the city of Victoria and its uptake regionally, how can we advocate the best?
Well, there's a couple things you can do. We've got some stuff on all of our social media right now, encouraging people to contact the mayor and council in Victoria and urge them to keep this program. We also have a letter you can fill out and send on our website, victoriatransitwritersunion.com, urging the provincial government to make transit free for all youth across the province. And please sign up for our emails on our website, because we'd love to be in touch with you. What we're going to need to do is we're going to need to build a movement. The provincial government, unfortunately, is not going to do this voluntarily exactly. We have to make it politically impossible for them to not make this necessary change. We know Zoran Mamdani just won in New York, partly on a promise of making the buses free.
Yep.
When we talk to the public, they're super into this. We just need to show them that. So please join us. We can push them, and we need to push them together.
You got more than half the vote, too. There you go. Liz Cronin from the Victoria Transit Writers Union. Thank you for your time today on the CFAX Afternoon Show. All the best into the future and with your advocacy down the road.
Thanks so much.